Hello everyone, how are you today? Again, this is Mr. Aleman. We're going to read our book today, and today's book is going to be Katie Wu. What happens next? Remember, this book is for credit on your HR hotspot class. The code for the quiz will be 160493. Again, after the story, you will get into your Renaissance application and then find the accelerated reader, click on the orange button. On the search bar, you will enter this code 160493. Okay, let's get started. What happens next? Katie was going on a trip. I'll miss you, said Jojo. Me too, said Pedro. I wish you were coming with me, sighed Katie. I have an idea, said Jojo. Why don't you write a story about your trip? When we read it, we can feel like we took the trip too. That's a great idea, agreed Pedro. Katie's stories are fun. Katie's Star Trip. Another word for story is narrative. When you write a narrative, you are telling a story. I love telling friends about exciting or surprising things that happen. I like making people laugh, so my stories are funny. If you write a story down, it can last forever. Remember your story about Halloween? Said Jojo. You thought you saw a ghost. Scary stories are fun, said Pedro. Katie's dad called. Hurry, Katie. It's time to pack for our trip. Okay, said Katie. I hope I don't forget anything. Don't forget to write your story, said Jojo. I won't, Katie promised. Katie packed her suitcase and took some money out of her piggy bank. I may need it, she said. You never know. Then it was time to go. Goodbye, house, Katie shouted. See you next week. I love trips, said Katie. You never know what's going to happen. I hope it is something exciting. Katie's star tip. Every narrative has a setting. This is where the story takes place. The setting could be your room, your school, or the moon. So far, my setting is in the car and at the beach. I can't wait to see the beach, said Katie's dad. I love to smell the salty air. I like writing words in the shiny sand, said Katie, and watching the waves erase them. Katie's start tip. It's also good to use lots of details on your narrative. Some of them can be smells or sights or tastes. This will make your readers feel the way you felt. It will keep them reading your story. Our beach is on an island, explained Katie's dad. We must take about a boat there. Uh-oh, moaned Katie's mom. We've missed the boat. We'll have to wait for the next one. My story will be exciting, said Katie. So far we have a missing boat. I wonder what will happen next. It's starting to rain, said Katie's mom. It rained and rained. Rain is good for the trees and the flowers, said Katie's mom. But not for the beach, sighed Katie. Maybe my story will be a sad one. Some stories are sad, said Katie's dad. I remember the one you wrote about your guinea pig. It started out sad when Binky got lost. That's right, agreed Katie. But then I found Binky and my story had a happy ending. Katie's star tip. Every narrative has a mood. The mood is how a story makes your readers feel. Losing a pet makes for a sad mood. Finding him again makes things happy. Remember another happy story? Said Katie's mom. It was the one you wrote about the 4th of July. That was a fun story, said Katie. Fireworks make a story sparkle. Finally, it stopped raining and the sun came out. The boat came too. Beach, here we come, sang Katie. Now we'll have fun. Oh no, said Katie's dad. I forgot my wallet. We don't have any money. Don't worry, said Katie's mom. I have some. Me too, said Katie. I took money out of my piggy bank. We'll have plenty of money for ice cream. Katie went swimming in the cool, salty sea and waved at the noisy seagulls. She made a fancy sand castle too, but she missed her friends. I wish Pedro and Jojo were here, she sighed. It's getting very hot, said Katie's mom. I know how to feel cooler, said Katie. I won't write a story about the beach. I'll write a make-believe story about a cold, icy place. Katie's star tip. There are two kinds of narratives. If I write a true story about what happens on my trip, it's called non-fiction. But since I've decided to write a make-believe story, that is called fiction. Both kinds of stories are fun to write and read. I'll put Pedro and Jojo in my story, Katie decided. Then I won't miss them so much. Katie's star tip. Pedro and Jojo are going to be characters in my narrative. The characters can be people, animals, creatures, like monsters. The main character is the most important character in the story because he or she talks and does the most. I think I will be the main character in my story. Katie told her mom and dad, in my story, Pedro and Jojo and I will dig a big hole. Really? Said her dad. What happens next? Katie smiled. We will stand upside down on the other side of the world. I've always wanted to do that. What happens next? Asked Katie's mom. A big blizzard. That's what Katie said. Our noses will turn pink and icicles will grow on them. Rrr, said Katie's dad. Then what happens? I don't know, said Katie. I'm still thinking. Katie grabbed her notebook and pencil. I know, she decided. I'll add wild animals. They are always fun in a story. Katie had a great time making up adventures. Here is her story. Jojo and Pedro and I dug a hole to the other side of the world. Wow, I said, shivering. It's cold and snowy here. Suddenly, Pedro yelled, Watch out! Here comes a polar bear. Oh no, I cried. He wants to eat us up. No way, yelled Jojo. I see a whale, maybe he can help. Katie started. My teacher, Miss Winkle, says that we should use temporal words in our narratives. These are words that tell us about time. I use the temporal word suddenly, then, and while in my story. Oh, Mr. Whale, I shouted. We don't want to be bear's supper. Can we jump onto your big shiny back? Sure, the whale spouted. Hop on. I was so lonely, and now I had 3 new friends. Then the whale sang a happy song while he floated us home, and the best part was nobody ate us up. Katie's star tip. Sometimes the characters in the story can help tell it. When a character talks, that is called dialogue. In my story, Pedro, Jojo, the whale, and I all talk. Don't forget to use quotation marks around the words your character says. Then your readers will know one of the other characters is talking. When Katie got home, she read her story. That was cool, said Pedro. In every way, for sure, agreed Jojo. I am glad you didn't forget about us. No way, said Katie. Now let's go skating. 1, 2, 3, go. Off they raced all afternoon, but that's in another story. And that's the end of the story, friends. We have finished the book, so now you can go to your Renaissance application and don't forget to, I have mine here, so click on the R. When you click on the Renaissance application, you will enter the code 160493. Again, 160493. And you have to do the quiz. Remember, I want you to get 100 on the quiz, my friends. That's the way we get credit on the books. See you until next time.